Hello there! Today I have a very special video for you. Long story short, in October of last year, I was asked to participate in a panel on stage with 3 other artists to talk about how to thrive on YouTube. This was in California, and I actually have the recording for you guys today. Some of you were in the audience, but if you couldn't make it, I wanted to make sure you could hear the conversation and just be a part of it. Listen in. You can watch the recording coming up in this video, or in case you want to listen to it again. It's about an hour long, so perfect to get a nice cup of tea or a little bit of a sketchbook session in. Yeah, definitely lots of juicy information in here. You'll hear from James Gurney, Kipto, and Marco Bucci, and we were all on the stage in the auditorium at the Expo, and we touched on a few pointers relating to YouTube, analytics, thumbnails, how to just time manage, and many more. So much valuable advice was given, and I'm so grateful to have been a part of it, and I'm very excited to share it with you. Before I begin the recording, I want to take a quick moment and give a huge shout out to our wonderful sponsors, Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for you to build your website. They have award-winning templates for you to share your portfolio, your shop, and I like to have both of these things currently on my website so that you can access both whenever you wish. They have 24/7 customer support, so if you ever need help, you can just reach out to them, and they're always able to help as soon as possible. One of my favorite parts is actually the fact that you can drag and drop images, and it's seamlessly displayed, looks super professional, and I think its user-friendly feature is a super win. So give it a try by going to squarespace.com for your free trial. And when you're ready to launch, head over to squarespace.com/JessCarp for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Okay, so sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Chirp.
All right, hey everybody. So thank you. I'm super excited to be moderating this panel, Artists on YouTube, How to Thrive. Today we're going to be diving deep into the incredible world of YouTube with 4 incredible artists. James Gurney, Marco Bucci, Kipto, and Jess Karp. Each of them has built a successful channel connected with global audiences and fostered supportive art communities, Whether you're a content creator or a fan of their work, this panel is packed with insights, so let's get started and welcome our panelists. Panelists, why don't you come on out? James Gurney, Jess Karp, Kipto, and Marco Bucci.
Hey, everybody. Hey, guys.
Let's go. Why don't we grab a seat and we'll do some quick little intros for those of you that might have been living under a rock and don't know one of these people. Okay, so I would love to ask our panelists to introduce themselves, starting with James Gurney.
So my channel takes people along on the adventure of making art on location. I typically start out each video with the practical stuff, tools, tips, techniques, and as the painting progresses, I pivot to some obscure corner of science, history, or philosophy. I like to experiment with different media, from pencils to oil, but most often gouache. I'm always trying out new color combinations and new ways of capturing light. I usually paint commonplace subjects near where I live in New York. I create the videos and run the channel all by myself, not just the painting, but also the camera, audio, and sometimes stop motion animation. Sketching on location is a form of magic because if it works out right, you can jump into the picture and live inside it. My favorite thing is to use analog tools to create things that most people do digitally. My goal is to create a community of plein air painters, concept artists, illustrators, and art students who share my love of drawing and painting from life.
Thank you so much.
Hey.
All right, next we have Jess Karp.
Hello everyone, welcome to a place where imagination meets the miracles of life. My name is Jess Karp, and my channel message is quite simple. positivity through creativity and sharing a light wherever I go, wherever I step foot. And I have a huge passion for sharing my sketchbooks, sharing the journey through my sketchbooks, and bringing people along as I go. I want to make it super digestible that you can do anything, improving your skills and challenging yourself through limitation, but also making sure that you know that you've got it all. Like, you can do it. That's what I want to share on my channel. When it comes to creating challenges, I love creating expressions, making sure that your art is whimsical and beautiful, and sharing a light through creativity. I also love taking my audience on location to do little sketchbook dates where I take your hand, we get on location, and we paint from life. And it's one of the ways that you get fully present in the space that you are and just enjoy the moment. I also had an opportunity to take my subscribers to an art retreat where we painted from life. There was a lot of healing, a lot of creativity, and it was just a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So with that, YouTube has allowed me to collaborate and meet other YouTubers and share a stage with them now. We created amazing things together and also landed some great sponsors, like the Litter Robot. Who would have known? So YouTube has allowed me to create some amazing artworks, self-portraits, and bring a connection to my audience, and with that, bring a connection to myself. Honestly, YouTube has us full of surprises where we're wearing different hats, doing all these different things, but all of the things through freedom. And most importantly, YouTube has taught me the immense amount of gratitude you can have, which is something that drives me in life. So with here, I want to say thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here. Let's have an amazing panel. Thank you so much for having us here. And let's have an awesome one.
Wonderful. So next we have Kipto.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Kipto. I'm a mural painter and filmmaker who started my YouTube career back in 2015 when I moved across the country to Los Angeles here to paint walls and make banger videos. My initial intention was to make videos to get more murals, which actually worked out for me for quite a while. I got some really cool commissions, and I even booked a trip across South America to make my own epic mural painting TV show. But then I started to realize that the type of clients I was getting didn't really have deep enough pockets to make these epic mural commissions that I was envisioning. And so I started to realize that the end product was not just the art, but the video itself. And I realized that I was going to have to leverage this relationship that I built with my audience even further. So in 2019, I started creating merchandise and doing sponsorships and really creating that dynamic with my audience and embracing the ER of the YouTuber, you know, really creating that, that message there. And now I am super focused on telling the best possible story that I can with my work and really showcasing the struggles, the surprises, and giving the audience really my whole heart. And by the end of the video, they can't help but be so invested. They're going to be laughing and smiling and crying along the way. And YouTube has allowed me to create amazing things all across the world, to create animations, explore comedy, action short films, and really give my whole heart and my true self and share it with the world. So I'm excited to share the rest of my journey with you guys today, and thank you guys so much for being here.
Wonderful. And last but definitely not least, Marco Bucci.
Hey, folks. My name is Marco. I got into YouTube by accident in 2009. I had a job in the animation industry. I recorded a video of me painting, and I'm like, hey, people put this stuff on YouTube these days. Let's try that. That was 2009. In about 2016, I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm getting a bit of an audience here. I told my wife for a New Year's resolution in 2016, I'm going to take this a little more seriously. And I try and do a video a month, and the driving force for me is I remember what it was like when I knew nothing about art. Didn't know about color, didn't know about shape and design, nothing. So I learned those things, and I always feel like if I learned them, other people can learn them. And that inspires my lessons. I've had the chance to create crazy characters. That's me as an unpaid intern stealing Proco subscribers. What a loser. And I've had tons of fun being able to imagine concepts that I had to learn and trying to think like, how can I make you guys learn it? you know, in a way that was an aha moment for me. And that's what I do. I sit alone in a room, and I do that. So it's a pleasure to be here in front of a lot of people. Thank you.
Wonderful. And in case you don't know who I am, my name is Bobby Chu. I also have YouTube and social media stuff. I generally do more shorts now. So when I was putting this thing together, I was like, I gotta moderate this because I gotta pick, you know, these guys, their brains and everything. One thing that I constantly hear from people is, oh, it's too saturated, right? Like, oh, it's hard for a new person to get any traction. I could definitely tell you that's not true. I started a new YouTube channel maybe like a year ago called An Infinite Story. There's like 11 videos up there, and you know, it's about, we just crossed 20,000 followers. I didn't tweet about it. I didn't do anything about it. It's all organic growth. So I hope you know, we can have a different perspective about like that we definitely are able to do this. The water is warm, so jump on in. So with that being said, I want to go to the very first slide here, and it's all about viral content, right? And we have the amazing Marco Bucci here. And I asked if he could show a thumbnail where it was quite successful and give us his thoughts on what made it so successful.
Yeah, sure. I remember talking to James about this last year at Lightbox, and I had, for the longest time, I had never had a viral video. I didn't know what that was like. And I wouldn't even, that's only semi-viral. Like it's pretty high on my channel, but not compared to what you see out there. I feel like the thumbnail has to be a big object because it makes people understand what they're looking at in a small thumbnail that they see for a half second as they scroll by. So these days, my strategy is to put a big object in the thumbnail, and if you can include a question mark, that's really good. Because it makes people be like, oh, do I not know that? Maybe I should know something. And then arrows are good. And big text that I stole from Technology Connections, one of my favorite YouTube channels. So big object, and I try and make the text an extension of the video title. So you get the video title, and you get a little bit of an extra tease with the text. And a big old object in the frame helps.
That's
it's wonderful. Hit and miss, though.
And so with SEO, you know, making sure that your title is searchable and things like that, are there any thoughts that go through your head in regards to that, or you don't care?
I just try and not waste the words. So like, I try and avoid words that are not very searchable, like is or the. Like I try and make words that are all searchable, I guess. Or maybe the other strategy sometimes is like your title is a statement or a question, and that can drive interest as well. So I play with both of those when I title my stuff. I try and not, I would like to think I've never done a clickbaity thing. Like, to me, the word bait implies that you are tricking someone. You're luring a fish with the worm they think is food, but they're getting caught. It's a fake. I try and not do a fake. I try and do an enticing statement or title, but it's paid off in the video. So I try and skirt the line of like maximizing interest, but having the video pay it off.
Fantastic. Now I'm gonna actually go to Jess now, because Jess, you don't do as much of like the big object for your thumbnails, right?
The big object is the sketchbook or the hand or the artwork.
Yes.
And I think that when you create a thumbnail, you're building a relationship from, if you can't get someone to click on your little, you know, this size, literally the size of your thumb, you're essentially creating a relationship. And if you can't get somebody to click on that thing, you can make the biggest masterpiece, your little baby that you put out into the world, but if you can't get somebody to click on it when it comes to that balance of the title and the thumbnail, you gotta really pay close attention. So I think it comes down to the shapes. I think it comes down to color. There's a psychology to thumbnails. I actually suggest studying psychology and things of the mind and things of human like cognition, because I think that really helps with clicking on something. Color is a really great thing. There's certain colors that you're even drawn to when you see someone. You're like, ooh.
When you're talking about research, though, are there any books
Books, there's actually a lot of videos on it on YouTube as well. I just kind of found YouTubers
Any particular
that,
channel that comes to mind?
there's a girl, I forgot her name, but she put out a video on making thumbnails specifically, and just she'll take every YouTuber that has the top views and she'll break them down in an hour-long video as to why this thumbnail works and why that thumbnail doesn't work. So it is actually, if you search it up, it should be the first video that pops up. Yeah, she kind of takes like Mr. Beast and the bigger YouTube channels that are not art channels. I also suggest studying different channels that are not even art channels, because that can help you apply it within your own channels as well.
Fantastic. And Kipto, you do giant murals that are represented by tiny thumbnails, right?
Yeah.
So what's the process for you to make sure that those thumbnails will catch people's attention and not be like, what is that? I can't even see, because it's,
there's actually a eureka moment a few years ago in 2020, I think, where I did a mural in Arkansas, and I had no real clear shots of the blank wall. I had to like Photoshop a bunch of like pre-shots that the client sent me, and then I had like a little tiny screenshot of myself like looking at it from behind, and then I did like a shot of me going like this with spray cans and shit, and I put it all together and I Photoshopped it in a way that looked natural enough, and it was literally just a white wall with me on the side like this with spray cans, and then like a little silhouette of me to show the scale. And that was the first video that really popped off based on the thumbnail that I noticed was like, oh, I don't even have to include the artwork at all. It's literally just a blank wall, and they're like, oh, what's he gonna paint? Let me see. And I've used that method for a lot of my mural thumbnails since then, and it hasn't failed me yet. So I'll do like red arrows pointing at the white space. You know, it's just so stupid, but like,
leaving a question, right?
Yeah,
You're gaining curiosity.
Curiosity, yeah. You have to develop curiosity in the thumb and the title and the thumbnail have to match. They can't. That's a very important thing. Like, you can't have the title say one thing and the thumbnail be about something else, because it's just confusing. They have to be. It has to be like first thought matching, so they can click on it, and they have to like be so curious that they can't not click on it.
The rule of thumb that inspired me was to think that the title and thumbnail win the click, and the click, if you get the click from the viewer, that wins the first 5 seconds. And if you got them for the first 5 seconds, you got them for the next 30 seconds, hopefully. And if you can get them that far, then that wins the rest of the whole video. But that first 5 seconds of the video has to not only match the title and thumbnail, but it's good to have the words that you're saying, if there's any voiceover during that first 5 seconds, have those words visible, because if someone's scrolling over the video without clicking on it, they can actually get an idea of what you're saying. So all that has to work together, like you have a mini trailer almost in front of the video, and I think that helps get people interested. And just think of your own behavior and your own psychology as a user of YouTube, and try to reverse engineer that into the way you design all this.
Now, the thing that I'm picking up as well that some might not is, you know, a lot of times people talk about the hook of your video. And they're talking about the hook of their video through visual stuff, not just words, right? A lot of times people think, oh, what's the sentence? What's the caption? But everything that you guys are talking about is, this is why visually people are going to click on it, right? Now, James, something that I always wondered, and I've read this before, where if you're just smiling, a normal just expression in your thumbnail, it's not going to be as clickable as an unusual expression, right? And so I put up your slide there of your QR code viral video. It has an amazing hook. You can understand it very, very quickly. Traditionally done QR code. And your thumbnail is you not smiling, but in the middle of talking. Is that on purpose?
No, not at all. The thumbnail for YouTube Shorts, I uploaded this on my laptop, and I found out later that the thumbnail is one they just give you, and you can't change it unless you're uploading on mobile. So now I'm trying to be more careful. So this is just what it gave me at random. But I guess it worked out because it got good response.
That's awesome.
Don't admit
But
that,
the
James.
basic idea is, for those of you who haven't seen it, is it possible to hand draw a QR code so that it could fool your smartphone? A lot of people commented, well, you're not really fooling the smartphone if you do it right, if you draw it right. But that kind of worried look, people said, you look like my grandpa, you know. But I realized the things that I've done that have really worked, really popped off, have been things where I do in some old school analog way what people normally do digitally. And another long form video, it's not that long, like 3 minutes, that really got good response was one where I went into an airport with some gouache. I had an hour left before the plane took off to try to paint the plane before it took off. It started with just a really crappy circle for the fuselage, and it eventually got looking more realistic. But it's good if your painting goes through kind of an ugly duckling phase. People think they can't possibly pull that together, you know.
I absolutely remember that video, and it felt like a big part of this, the virality of the airport video, was because by nature, airports, you are not relaxed. You are in a rush. How did this person paint this, right? Did you guys have...
Yeah, it's just classic storytelling, like any other kind of storytelling. You want to communicate what it is you're trying to accomplish. You're kind of the character in this story usually. What do I want to accomplish? What are I going to think about? What are the setbacks? In the case of that QR code video, I smudged the ink and I had to use whiteout to fix it. So even in like a 35-second video, you have to have problems and setbacks that you have to overcome in some creative way, and then some kind of twist at the end. Just like any story. So stories you can tell in 7 seconds, 30 seconds, 20 minutes, or an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Yes.
GSU, goal, stakes, urgency. Those are the 3 things you have to keep in mind, especially at the beginning to set up your story and keep those things in mind. That's like the 3 basic things if you're going to have something to say and like a story to tell. Goal, stakes, and urgency are like one of the 3 main things you want to keep in mind.
What was the second one? Stakes?
Yeah, setting the stakes. Like why does this matter?
And for longer form content, are there any tips about re-engagement to keep them going, right? Like Mr. Beast does this all the time where they start off with a challenge and then later on, like, give it a couple minutes. Oh, by the way, we're going to shrink this circle that you all have to live in or whatever.
Yeah.
Like constant re-engagement.
Right.
Any thoughts about that?
Well, so I'll jump in. For me, I do a lot of like deadline-based stuff. That's like the urgency part. The goal is to paint this wall in this amount of time, and if I don't do it, then I'm screwed, right? I have this deadline, I have these clients I have to fulfill, or I have like a certain amount of paints I have to finish with. Oh no, I'm running out of paints. I need to switch these colors and try and make up something along the way. Like there's always a problem I have to solve, and if you include your audience in those problem-solving situations, it keeps it engaging, it keeps it interesting, and it keeps them feeling like they are connected to the story and connected to what you're trying to go through. So those are the things that I keep in mind. And for me, like painting walls is hard already. It's really hard. It's a lot of work. And so there's always challenges no matter what, for me at least. And I try and, even though sometimes it really sucks to record those things, I try and do my best to at least record some of the really shit parts, because that's what gets people feeling for you. That's what makes it engaging. That's what makes the outcome that much more satisfying, especially for the audience, because they know what you went through to get there. And that's what storytelling is about, and that's what we're trying to get you to care. We want you to care as much as we care. And if you can do that, then you're on the right track.
Now, the reason that I kept this slide up is because if you notice, in the very beginning, James's viral video didn't just start taking off right away, right? It took a few days before it really, really started to ramp up. Were there any examples from you guys where the virality of your video was quite delayed? And
Yes,
maybe
always.
you were
Yeah.
thinking of changing it or
Sometimes you can even like change the title and thumbnail like
Yeah.
weeks later, and then it'll just take off if you have like the right amount of changes that are smart and calculated.
There's some of the YouTube apps that lets you do A/B testing of thumbnails. and titles so that you can try different versions and then compare them against each other. I just sort of experiment, and sometimes I'll change it and see if it seems to change the curve. But you're right, it does delay, and who knows what makes the algorithm do it that way. I think it tests it out with the people that are your core subscribers first, and then it starts sending it out to other groups, apparently. And I've had some, including on the Facebook algorithm, that have done well in other communities, other countries, like Philippines and Bangkok and Mexico City, that I never would have expected. So yeah, it's really hard to second guess what the algorithm's going to do, and it's probably better not to worry about it too much. The ones that have done well are ones I didn't expect to do well at all, and ones I really thought, this one's, I could tell my wife every time, this one's going to go viral, and it doesn't usually.
Yeah,
And
that's my experience too, James.
Yeah. I think sometimes you'll put out a video and it's going to, you have all this excitement, like putting out your project into the world. Essentially, we're making like mini movies. I don't know how much you guys upload, but I upload at least twice a month. So it's like essentially making a mini movie, a mini story, sharing your art, making sure that you've got all those components in this schedule, and so you've got to time manage really, really well. But once you put up a video, sometimes you'll put something up, it'll go super viral super quickly, and sometimes you'll put up a video and in about a month, you'll be like, you'll look at your analytics and it's at 100,000 all of a sudden, or 200,000, and you're like, wow. So sometimes you never know. It just, the algorithm gods will bless the moment. So just put out your best and put out the right intention, and wherever it's going to go and whoever it's meant to find, it's going to find.
by the way, how many of you guys love the Lightbox Expo videos that Bobby does? That's fantastic, right? Yeah. Bob, can you say a word or two about what you've learned about doing those videos? Because they got drone shots, you got interviews, you got all kinds of fun ideas.
You know, something that's really helped is I made another Instagram account, right, where I just follow social media stuff, right? Social media influencers, creators, that kind of thing. So if I'm looking for ideas, a lot of times, you know, you scroll through your general feed, you're not getting the stuff that you really want to see. So I found that by making multiple accounts, it allows me to sort out the content that I want to see a lot faster.
Which one of those is your troll account?
I don't troll. I believe in karma, so I don't do that. But maybe you got a little account there?
Marco,
I'm
what are you
just
not
joking with you,
telling
Bob.
us?
I can't help it, but
It's
fine,
okay.
I'm sorry.
Nobody's here. Nobody will know if you do.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the other thing that I notice here is that you got, James, you got 22,000 followers from this one tiny short that's not even a minute long, right? Which is incredible. Now, something that many of us know if you have a YouTube account and things like that, it's like there is a particular art to asking people to follow you without the retention dropping off like a cliff. Anybody want to speak on this?
Authenticity, be yourself.
Yeah.
Always, 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 always. The right people will be drawn to you, and the people that are your energy will be coming to you. And as long as you've figured out your message and what you want to say, dig deeper within yourself and begin sharing that authentically in your story. It's just a natural thing that happens.
Yeah.
you
I've
know?
always gone the other way than maybe what's common now, where I never use graphics. You know, the graphic pops up with the click and the bell. I've never done that ever. I just feel like what Jess said. If you are just yourself and putting out content that people like to see, they know where the subscribe button is. They want to watch you. So
It's felt. It's felt
Yeah,
immediately
yeah.
on the other end. You
Yeah.
feel it. You know, sometimes you'll watch something and it hits you like,
Yeah.
you'll feel it. So it communicates.
And you can really get a discussion going in the comments if you ask them, if you have an unsolved problem that you really wonder what they think about something. You know, you just
Yes.
say, let me know in the comments what you think about this. And they'll tell you.
Yeah, communicating and interacting, letting your audience have a voice is a huge thing. Because as humans, what do we want? We want to be seen, we want to be felt, right? So if you open that up to your audience, it's so special. It's something that I love to do. If I can put everybody in one room, I would, and like hug everyone and talk to everyone. So if you give somebody an opportunity to say a voice and have a voice in what you do as well, and then after that, make a video about what somebody has voiced is super helpful, because then people feel seen. People feel like you've gathered a trust and a relationship. So yeah.
And also, me and Jess just did this really epic project with 10 other YouTubers called Artists in Wonderland. If you guys want to look that up on YouTube,
Yeah.
we did this really
Who's
epic
seen it? Anybody
collaboration.
seen it?
Shout out to
Yeah.
Artists in Wonderland. We had 5 Europeans and 5 Americans battling it out head to head every single day. And what we did was we used the advantage of the community tab, and we had our audience vote on who they thought won this art battle, okay? And by the end, we tallied it up, and we had like a winner of the whole event. And everyone on our channel, like everyone in the Wonderland crew, had one video like every day. And so we all used our community tabs and like lifted all of our ships and like smooshed all of our audiences together, and used that advantage to bring our audience even closer to us and let them participate.
Yeah.
Because unlike Netflix and HBO and all that stuff, there's no audience participation. YouTube is the one advantage where it's YouTube and YouTube. You know, they come together, and like that's the one advantage. We can literally like have our audience interact with us and vice versa.
And we
Now-
also have, sorry.
Oh, very quick, on that topic, you know, you're talking about many collaborators, and as you know, maybe like a year ago, platforms have been really cracking down on aggregated content, right? If somebody puts up some video and another person puts up a video, the second person's video will generally have much less views than the first person, because all these platforms are trying to give the views back to the original creator, right? In this case, how do you manage, like, who's going to be putting this thing up first?
In collaboration, in collaboration, once we're collaborating. So in that actual event, what we did was, and the leeway and the beauty of it was, everyone had a different day where we curated a different battle and a different type of event. So everyone's video had a different story.
Oh, so it wasn't one video?
No, we actually made sure that it doesn't have that clash. So in YouTube, what I think is beautiful is you have the freedom to tell whatever story you want to tell, and nobody's going to tell you, don't say it and don't do it this way, because you have that freedom. So what we did was we came together, imagine like 10 artists from all over the world coming together. They're our crazy minds coming together and making something a different day. So on one day, somebody would have a battle about shape-shifting shapes. We had to make shapes out of a wall. That was my challenge. Kipto had a wall where he had a one-on-one battle where he battled another YouTuber where it was just one-on-one. So everybody's topic was different, so there was no issue on collaborating on who would have what in the video, which Kipto can speak a little bit about in collaboration with other artists, because sometimes we do work with other artists in a video too, and you have the leeway to do whatever you want. Yeah, so.
I mean, it's up to you and the way you want to structure your video and your content. I think I've done some collaborations in the past where like we'll come together and we'll make one piece of work and make 2 separate videos. And I've come to not really like that anymore, because I almost feel like we're competing rather than collaborating. And so with this Artists in Wonderland project, it was super genius of this whole thing to have like a string of 11 videos, and everyone has their own video on their own channel.
It's like a mini series, because all of our episodes were like 56 minutes long, but they still performed quite well for such a long video, which is another thing on YouTube.
Like a experimental, first of its kind collaboration TV show where it was like not on one channel, but 10 different channels.
Yeah, if you want free entertainment.
One thing I learned
Check it
about
out.
titles is
Artists in Wonderland.
Artists in Wonderland.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and we did a whole
Now-
print where we actually collaborated on an artwork all together. So we had let's say I had Alice, so I was representing Team Girls also. I was the only girl on the whole squad, which was super cool. Matt had a caterpillar, and so everyone created this one artwork throughout too.
And that's how we
named
we
it.
funded most of it. We sold the merch to our audience. We made a silk screen print. We also made stickers we just had one character, and we thought about the composition, the color palette, the theme, so it would be nice and unified and it would look beautiful at the end, but we all just took one character and slowly plopped them in place and created that screen print.
Got a shirt right
We
there.
made
We
silk
got a
screen
shirt right there.
shirts and sticker packs, and we did like the way we set up our merch was we had you could order the print, You could order the stickers, or you could do a bundle, which had an exclusive T-shirt. So we had a 3 setup, like a 3 choices. And most people bought the bundle because there was like a discount, and people can't not get a discount, you know what I'm saying? And that's like part of the marketing, part of our choices to create this. It's, and you want to create those type of things and maximize your opportunities with your audience and give them something of value that they're going to want to buy, that you can also support ourselves and create the things that we want to create. So that's a huge part of Artists in Wonderland as well.
Fantastic. We'll keep the questions going here. So, James, I would love to ask you how you come up with your ideas. What's the process?
The process for me is I go out painting, I take my couple cameras and audio with me, and record the video of the painting process. So I have a lot of clips from a lot of angles, and I boil it down when I get back and edit it. Then I do the...
Sorry, I actually, sorry about that. I just want to really get to, like, do you list down a whole bunch of different ideas and then you pick one out of there? And if you do, what are you looking for in the idea itself?
I mean, sometimes, and a lot of creator advisors like Colin and Samir, that's a good channel for creator advice. Yeah. But a lot of them suggest writing out the thumbnails and the titles first, working that out, and then doing your video based on that. But for what I'm doing, I'm basing this on an individual painting that I do on location. So I usually come back with footage that I have to make into a video. If the painting turns out okay or has some interesting clips leading up to it, then I know I got something I can work with. But I want to say, just in terms of technically speaking, the audio is really important. And what I've been playing with lately is having 2 stereo mics on each side of the painting that pick up a stereo pickup on the contact noises of the brushes or pencils touching the paper. So if you put headphones on, you really feel like you're right there.
That helps with audience retention because you like the sound of it.
And anytime you have someone talking to camera, you gotta mic them. It really helps a lot. I think more videos are ruined by bad audio than anything. You can really get by with pretty bad visuals or exposures or things like that. People are pretty forgiving, but if they can't hear what someone's saying, it's not working. So good audio is really super important.
If anyone's looking to learn about audio, 2 things.
Call Marco.
EQ and compression. Learn those things. Yeah. That's the heart of post-production in audio.
And Marco, I'm just curious about, because you're such a good explainer on your videos. If you've seen his videos, you know he really is great at explaining art concepts. How much do you script it out first? How much do you just freewheel it when you're talking?
I fly by the seat of my pants. I don't script anything. I do think about structure, though. To me, structure is king with so much of art. And I think of a 3-act structure. Act 1, what is the problem? And how can it manifest in your work in a negative way? Act 2, how can we solve this problem? That involves like art lessons and theory. And then Act 3, let's get it done. Let's actually solve the problem practically. So that's where I'll do like the painting. So it's always, my videos are all 3-act structures. And in a way, it's like it's a story. It feels like a narrative story. And I don't, so to answer James' question more directly, I don't script it, but I do structure it. What I do is I just start creating visuals. Because in my brain, I'm like, oh, I need to show you this, 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 this. I make all those things with no audio at all. And then I dump them all on a timeline. I just use Adobe Premiere. I dump them all on a timeline, and I feel like a sculptor now. I'm like, oh, okay, this can go here, this can go there. There's still no audio, but in my head, I can hear the audio because it's my lesson. And then I just, once I feel like it's in the right spot, roughly, I grab the mic and I start recording lines. And because I don't have a script, I re-record 1,000,000 times to get the sentence down. I said earlier, I don't like to waste words, which I am doing right now. But in my recordings, I'm a ruthless editor. I will record a line 10 times to get a sentence from 15 words down to 6 words. I'm very passionate about the language that way. And that's how I have presented my videos for years now. Last thing, the risk there is sometimes I think my videos, if I were to self-critique, sometimes my videos can feel maybe a little less personal because it's almost like a spray gun of information. But at the same time, I try and find a balance where it's me, but it's only the art part of me. It's me, but you're seeing a certain part of me. And that's kind of how I think about my personality on my YouTube videos.
Now, something that many people might connect with is, a lot of artists are shy, right? And I've heard many times, well, I don't want to be on camera. Right? And Marco, I believe like in the very beginning, you didn't have much face
I have a very quick story about that. You're totally right, Bobby. For the first many years, 7 years, I never was on camera, but only because I thought people weren't interested in seeing me. It was a comment I got. I don't even know who it was. Random comment was like, "Hey, Marco, you should show your face on your videos more." And I was like, "Okay." And I tried it, and like that video did really well. And I talked to my wife about it, and she's like, "You know what? This is an obvious sounding discovery now, but I'm like, people want to connect with you, like what Jess was saying. They want to know who you are." And I started then filming myself more. It was as simple as that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the audience, if they hear a voice, they kind of want to see a face, even if you're only on there for 3 seconds in the whole video.
Yeah.
If you have what's called a J cut, which is what editors call that thing where you hear the audio of a voice first, then you see the face later. That's called a J cut because it looks like a J on your timeline. That is really a nice thing to do. And the same goes if you're painting outside, you hear a siren or something, or you hear some weird noise. You kind of have to film that just to show what it was that made that sound. It's just a favor to the audience, even if it's very short.
Now, we definitely want to get some questions from the audience, so think about your questions, okay? But while you do that, I'm going to ask Jess a question as well. Jess, you are so good at creating a beautiful scene of like your hand coming in and like, you know, drawing and painting and stuff. What are the thoughts that you have, you know, when you're setting up your display and your lighting?
First, thank you for the kind words. I think everything is a dance and everything is a performance. And I think the way you interact with the camera and whatever is on screen is part of you. So I kind of have it be an extension of myself. I love creating anything that's visually enticing. We love things that are very visually pleasing. So if we can make things simple and digestible on camera, especially if it's simplistic, simplicity goes a really long way. So I think when I'm, you know, having the overhead, which by the way, the rig is built off of nothing special, like all this extra equipment, my whole channel was built off of an iPhone. Yes, an iPhone. You don't need anything crazy. You really don't. You just need to start and you need to just experiment, because I had no idea how to edit, no idea how to film, no idea how to structure anything, really. It was all trial and error. But I think that what goes through my head is, how can I make this as digestible as possible for you? And I think about my audience and I think about what the questions that they ask before I kind of curate what I do. So yeah.
So my question is, a big problem that a lot of artists have on YouTube and people in general is a video will go viral and then you feel the need to make more videos similar to it to like keep the train going and like play into the algorithm. But you might not be enjoying making those kinds of videos that are for the algorithm and not for you. So my question is, should artists on YouTube who are maybe just starting out play into the algorithm to grow, or should you focus more on making videos that you enjoy making but don't necessarily play into the algorithm and all that?
Great question. Thank you so much. You guys mind if I take this one? I think there is a fine balance of what you want to say and the art that you want to make, because essentially it has to make you happy first. You have a message and you have a little spark in you that every artist and I think every human does have, and I think that's what will make your video special and what makes you special. But also finding that beautiful thin line and that balance of feeding the algorithm but still curating to what you want to say is essential. So I do think that there is a balance of both. I believe that you should do both, but in a way that you still check back in with yourself and answer a question. What is it that I want to say with this video? Why is this important to me? And why is this important for the world to know? And why is this effective? Answer those questions, get very clear on it, and it somehow harmonizes into one beautiful miracle. So, yeah.
I have a pretty recent experience with that direct question. I can tell you quickly. A couple months ago, I made a video based on my favorite video game, and that video did really well, unexpectedly. Like James was saying, I didn't expect it to do well. It does really well. So I'm like, okay, maybe the video game connection is a favorable thing. So I asked myself, well, I like other video games. Is there another thing I can do that's not repetitive with this video, but still themed around video games that I could do? And I did that. So I kind of combined it, right? I found something else I could say that was still themed with the thing that did well the last month. And remember, there's endless videos you can make, so that was easy for me to find. I just found another game I loved, found a different aspect of it that I loved, and I made a lesson about it.
Yeah,
and it tanked.
is a good environment for, oh, sorry, Kipto. It's a good environment for experimenting and for trying things out. And my formula is, just as an overall career strategy, is just to have at least 10% of my time spent on just something I do purely for fun, with no thought at all about, is it getting views or is it getting monetized? And those areas where you're playing and experimenting and trying things out, your community's along with you, even if you don't realize it. Those are the things that may grow into something that actually does become one of the main drivers of your income and your career. So I would encourage you, if you have skills you want to develop, if you want to play around with animation, storytelling, painting on location, or any other topic that you got skills in or want to develop skills in, just try it out. And you may come up with a combination of those things that no one's ever seen before. And that's the thing that's likely to become very popular. But chasing the algorithm directly, I don't think really works, at least not for me.
Yeah, and YouTube will teach you lots about yourself. Like, even if you'll see things and play it in your own way, with everything that you make, the more you make, the more you do. I think just getting to it and not thinking so much about the algorithm, it'll happen, but it's important to bring yourself back. And I think that once you do, it gets really special, and that's where the secret sauce is, and things just start flowing. So with each video you make, you'll get closer to something else, and it'll feed into other parts of your life and other parts of your audience as well. I think YouTube has changed my life in that way. It's taught me lots about myself and lots about the world too. So it gets you closer. It's kind of like a whole journey, and that's where it's at. It's not at like finish, it's at the journey, because that's what I think is special.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Next question.
Thank you all so much for sharing. My question is time management, because as an artist or writer, you wake up and you're like, I'm going to commit 3 hours, 6 hours to writing or painting. How do you find the time to make these videos? Because it's very time consuming. I tried one. And then how do you balance that with your actual, because most artists are kind of introverts, we just want to be off and painting. Just how do you, if we want to be on YouTube, how do we manage that?
It's easy,
time?
just don't sleep.
Yeah, this guy does that. Yeah, we don't sleep sometimes.
I don't know, but I think all of us here, we all make our own videos. We all edit all of our own stuff. It's shooting, creating, editing, all by ourselves. And yeah, it's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. It's an insane amount of work.
Be ready for that. You have to be ready for that.
Yeah, if you don't like it, then you probably won't make it. I'm not going to lie. And I tell people, I guess this isn't time management, but I just wanted to say, like, if you're thinking about making a YouTube channel and you're scared of committing like your entire being to it, and you don't think that you can do it, and it's not going to be for you, then I probably wouldn't recommend it. But there's someone in the back there that says, "Screw you, Kipto, I'm going to do it anyways." And those are the people that are going to make it.
I think that if your drive is stronger than any other fear that's in your head, there's a message that you want to share. If there's something that's so strong, it's almost greater than you, it's going to allow you to create. Like, why do we create? Why are we artists? Because we have this passion. We have this burning passion for what we do, and that will supersede anything. So once you love something so much, what do we do when we love something? We'll do anything for it. So you'll figure it out along the way, and I think that's something to think about when you're creating. You just got to think about the drive, the message. Like, what do you want to say?
Yeah, and when it comes to time management, for me, it's like the painting itself might really only take 2 hours, but the editing might take a week, and then it boils down to 12 minutes or 10 minutes or so. But I agree with what Kipto said earlier, which is that for us, the art form isn't just the painting, it's the video, and the video is the art form that we're doing. So it's fun to play with it and try to tweak it, come up with new ways to put a twist on it that we've never done before. And the time is well spent. It's good to have a regular release schedule. Yeah. I've slacked off because I have so many other projects, books, and other stuff I'm working on. but it's good to keep feeding the dragon, as it were, and keeping them coming out.
I'll sometimes film Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, have some time to edit. Once you put in your hours, you kind of get this system going, and you'll create a system. And I highly recommend taking some classes on time management, or even like creating a system, something that's completely away from YouTube. Study other things away from that will help feed into your time management. And then once you curate the thing that works for you, I always say do what works for you, because the way that we do things maybe won't work for somebody. So experiment with your time management. Sometimes people are creatives in the morning. Maybe you'll wake up and you'll get straight to sketching. You'll have your set up like right away. Making sure that everything is functional in your studio helps with time management 1000%. Have your setup, even if it's not a big space, it doesn't have to be big, it just needs to be functional. Functionality goes a long way with time management.
Yeah,
so that's what I have to say.
That's a good point. My setup is always there.
Yeah, you want to make sure everything's ready to go, because by the time you set up and just have it nice and tidy for you, where it's your little space, it's your little sanctuary, it's ready to go.
Yeah, I treat videos like a sprint. I section off a week. I try and do one a month, as high production quality as I can. I set aside about a week in that month where I can create a little bubble for myself that is only about that video, and it's a week sprint. And in that sprint, because I'm fully enveloped in that video, my brain is always on it. When I'm sleeping, when I'm walking around, when I'm taking care of my kids, half my brain is still on the video. And in that bubble, that little temporary world that is that video, I feel like for me, that's how I get the best work done, rather than a little bit here on Monday, a little bit here on Thursday. I treat it like a sprint.
Yeah.
One quick rapid question, and we'll take another question. Do you believe that there is a best time to post?
Oh, go into your algorithm, and there'll be these bars, and it'll say when your audience is on the most. Again, everything is curated to the audience as well. I think that when you see where that bar is like the darkest purple, and it says everyone's on at like 11 a.m. or 12 a.m., because people, if you've gathered that relationship with your audience, people will know, and they're going to look forward to when you post, and they're going to be like, okay, so James Gurney's posting at 12 o'clock every Saturday. I'm going to get on there, and I'm going to wait for it to come on. So it's kind of like a release. And also posting on other platforms and letting people know when you're posting, setting a little countdown. It's like hyping up, the excitement. So that really helps too. I think posting at 12 o'clock or 11 a.m. on a weekend, utilize that weekend time where everyone's home, everyone's with their kids, everyone's with their families. Yeah.
West Coast time. Right?
East Coast, I think.
Okay. I just wanted
YouTube officially says it doesn't matter when you post, but it is tempting to want to drop it into a space where there's a lot of audience out there. So it does tell you in analytics, when most of your audience is there, and also what other channels they watch. So if you go there in the analytics, you can find out what other channels your audience is checking out.
There are channels that post very sporadically, like once a month or once every 2 months, and they'll perform phenomenal. So I think it also comes down to if your video is great, if your thumbnail and title balance and match that, and you have built your audience and your reputation and the trust, people will click on it. People will come and see it. So sometimes you can put something up on a Tuesday morning and it'll still do great.
Yep.
Wonderful. Next question.
Yay, so many questions.
Hi. Sorry. I feel like my heart is
Oh,
going to
Perry,
burst.
what's up?
Hi. You guys are amazing. I love all of you, and I watch all of your videos. I just want to preface, this isn't the question, but
Thank
you're
you.
all amazing. I don't have a live, so I just watch your videos.
Neither
You
do I.
do.
Thank
Yes,
you.
that's it.
I
I'm
love
an
your
artist.
accessory.
Thank you. I'll give you one. I'll give you one after
Oh,
this show.
thank
I have
you.
a bag full of them. So.
Oh, thanks.
So this is a question for any of you guys, but backstory, I was gearing towards visual development for like most of my college career, and then this last year I recently started like making YouTube videos, and I just posted my first video.
Woo, congrats!
Yeah, hit me up guys now.
Oh yeah, celebrate your wins. Celebrate your wins.
Okay, yes. No, this takes a lot for me to like acknowledge. So thank you, but that's not the question. The question is, I really, really love it, and it's really, really fun, and I'm relating a lot to what you guys are saying, like every one of you, but Kipto was saying earlier that he had an epiphany that, the video is art, and that's a part of, I'm an artist first, and I'm making them, not because I like want to get famous on YouTube, but because it's really fun. But it's hard to, as a perfectionist, do you have any advice for someone who wanted to go into filmmaking and now they're like doing all this art and then they're doing the video editing and they're doing color scripting for the videos and thinking about like color theory and composition and scripting and like the thing that you were talking about where like, oh, you start to speak the voiceover and then it transitions. Like I'm getting very overwhelmed and I'm having fun, but I don't want to lose sight of the reason I started it, which is for art.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I think we've all been through that for sure.
Yeah.
I think you just posted your first video. Don't get overwhelmed. Just focus on creating more videos. Okay? Like just when I hit 100 videos, I sort of figured out what I wanted to do. You know? And so it's just you're at the point where you need to just go. There's no point in trying to overthink where you want to take it because you might make 10 videos and realize like, okay, well, I kind of like stretched that muscle. Let me just stretch a different muscle for 10 other videos. Make like 30 videos and look back at your little portfolio on your page and be like, okay, what have I said so far that I like? What have I said that I don't like? What do I want to improve? What's connecting with people? And just get like a gaggle of videos done and then that'll show you and teach yourself what you want to say and how you want to work, and yeah, just keep going. That's it. Yeah.
And always bring yourself back into that fun, because you just told us that the reason why you started it because it's fun. And when we bring fun into it, that's where the magic is. But it's all part of the process. Like it's literally all of what you said. You're on the right track. Those are all the normal feelings. It's okay to feel that way, and it's part of it. It really is. That's the fun part, actually.
Just remember, there's a big difference between planning and doing. Planning is great, but there is a time, and that for me, that time happens immediately, where you gotta start doing it.
Yeah.
It's like writer's advice. Writer's like, how do I overcome the blank page? You gotta start writing.
Paralysis of analysis.
You just film something, draw something, start doing it, and the planning will interweave with the doing, rather than I plan first, then I do. Try and combine them. That has revolutionized my productivity.
Yeah.
Great. One last question.
Hello. So my name is Mina Roy, and I have a question regarding just developing your YouTube channel as you're starting off. So, for example, I have two concepts for a channel that have potential to be successful, but I'm uncertain how to progress, whether to pick a concept or do both concepts on one channel, and just progress based on the insights despite rather being different concepts. So to reiterate, how would you advise starting and possibly identifying when to pivot or commit, especially because it's common to hear channels take time to properly build an audience?
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
if you just make videos and see what you enjoy making, see what the audience responds to, YouTube will tell you and the audience will tell you what they like, and you'll know what you enjoy making. So I would just put both of them out on the same channel, and then keep making more of what you enjoy making. I know I don't follow some of the rules that a lot of people say, like make your thumbnails have a certain brand look. I make them different each time. So I'm always just trying stuff out. And also people advise you to release on a certain schedule, do one video every Friday or whatever, and I don't do that either. So I'd probably get better results if I did those things, but I just have fun doing these things and putting them out there, and people let you know what they like and what they don't like. If you have music under everything or use time lapse too much, people will tell you, oh man, I want to see real time, slow it down. I think we're in a time now where there's a lot of short form content. People do want to watch short videos, but they also like long podcasts and long videos. So you can kind of push either extreme right now. And if anything, we're moving kind of from a macro culture to a micro culture. There's a writer named Ted Gioia on Substack who talks about this. Macro culture is like the big companies, the big music companies and studios, and the big movie studios, where each artist has a real specialized job working for them. But the microculture is each of us develops our own community, and that's the people that support us. You don't need a huge following to support you as an artist. But you do need a lot of different skills, a lot of different hats you have to wear to produce content that will, be complete on its own if you're just one person doing it all.
Fantastic. Well, that's all the time that we have. So make sure that you follow each one of these wonderful creators. James Gurney, Jess Karp, Kipto, Marco Bucci. Thank you so much for coming
Thanks,
to
guys.
YouTube.
Thank you so
Artists on
much.
YouTube.
Thanks, Bobby.
And have a wonderful time at the event, okay? Thank you.